What's up, Average Joes? Today, I want to talk about the books I plan on reading in March and beyond. So how's it going out there? And welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back and watching my videos. Please, like, subscribe. Really helps me out. I know I took a bit of a hiatus from my publishing videos and stuff, but I am trying to make a comeback now that I have my office somewhat up and running and we're in our new house. But either way, thanks for sticking around and commenting on my videos and all that. So today I want to talk about what I'm going to read moving forward. So this would be pretty much starting in March and beyond, because I don't really do monthly TBRs. If you're new around here or if you might have forgotten, I try to do monthly TBRs and wrap ups because months always bleed over and I'm much more of a mood reader and I don't stick to a strict plan. So I have a yearly priority tiered list and I kind of pull from there, and then mood reading goes from that and see what else pops up. But a loose plan coming up and kind of in a priority sort of sense is what I'm going to go over now. So first and foremost, the number one thing that I'm going to read next is starting the War for the Rose Throne, this is my channel read along. We're going to be reading one per month starting in March, which this will probably be out at the start of March. And it starts with Priest of Bones. That is book one. So in March, I will be reading Priest of Bones along with whoever else is joining in my read along. So if you want to join the read along, join up. There's still time. It's a 4-book series. I have a video all about it that I'll try and link up above. But Priest of Bones, one per month is the War for the Rose Throne read along. So March is the first one. And then obviously after that, March into April will be Priest of Lies, is book 2. So I will do Priest of Lies in August as well. The next one, a group of friends that I also work with, we are going to read Shadow of the Gods. So last year, I actually got an arc of this, and if you're new here, I love John Gwynn's writing. I have his Banished Lands is basically my number one series. I count all 7 as basically one series, but all of his books in the series are at the top of a lot of my list. Love them. Have not read Shadow of the Gods. I should have. I got an arc and I pre-ordered it, but right when I got the arc, I lost my Kindle on an airplane, and it was a digital one, so it's the only way I could read it. And then by the time I got home and I got the arc, because I was living overseas, I got it weeks later. I was knee deep in other readings and read-alongs, and I was like, well, I'm already late on this one, so I might as well just wait until it gets closer to the next book's release, which is Hunger of the Gods. I believe it comes out in April or May or something. Anyway, group of my friends, we're going to read this. I know one of them has already read pretty much all the other John Gwynn books and has loved them. So now we're going to read Shadow of the Gods in March. That'll be my second book I read in March. And now is when things get a little loosey-goosey. So this is kind of how I structure my reading. I'll have like 1 or 2 that I know I'm going to get to, and then everything else is going to be ebbs and flows. The next most possible one will be Assassin's Quest. So I am 2 chapters away from finishing Royal Assassin, a nice chunky 700-page book. Really liking it. There are some slow points and such, but I won't really get into that for wrap up now. And so Assassin's Quest is next, but this one is even longer. I'm not sure how long, but I think it's longer than Royal Assassin. So it's fitting in those longer, chunkier books. That could be kind of iffy, but that will be the third one, so I can finish that trilogy, which was the number one book priority read that I had for this year. So starting off strong there. And if I don't get to that, I might just push back a little bit, maybe into April some. But I will get to Nightmareland Chronicles. I still need to finish those. Those are novellas, which are 150 pages or so. I think they progress to get a little bit longer as you go on. But that is the novellas in the Nightmareland Chronicles series. Fantastic series so far. I've loved every single book. And they're just great to fit in. So whenever I get those other 2 books done, maybe before Assassin's Quest, I will do it. Or I might even have to push Assassin's Quest till after Priest of Lies, because I want to keep up with reading the War for the Rose Throne book early in the month so that I can talk to people about it. And hopefully we'll have that channel up by the start on Alan's channel of Alan and his Discord, Library of Alexandria. So check that out if you're interested. After Nightmareland, it's when, we'll see what happens. I always like to get some mysteries and thrillers in because they're just short, fun reads. I finally read my first James Patterson book, and it was the book 1 in the Women's Murder Club. We got the mass parkings of those. So I have the second one here. We just stopped in literally yesterday at a used bookstore. I had the first, third, and fourth. So now I have the second, so I can continue that series. I really liked it. After going through it, it was okay for a long part, but then toward the end, it actually got a lot better than what I expected. So interested to continue it. It's a new kind of twist on murder mysteries, which I like, keeping things somewhat fresh, and the fact that they're a series. It's also great for murder mysteries like the Sebastian St. Croix St. Cyr series, because you don't need to have that familiarization with the characters. You already know them, and you're just like, all right, we're just going to jump into another mystery. So it's all good there. I'm currently listening to, I'm about 40% through a mystery called Knock Knock. So I listen to an audiobook. It's a good Scandinavian mystery so far. If you're not familiar, Scandinavian writers, like whether it's Nordic, Swede, they are fantastic when it comes to dark mysteries. Their mysteries, all of my experiences with them have been very awesome. They're usually on the darker side, but they're so good. Chestnut Man was one great example. It's one of my favorites now. So Knock Knock is the next one. And if you're fans of and for audiobook fans, I believe, I just need to get the name right. So for audiobook fans, Simon Vance is the narrator for this. I know he's known for a lot of other things. He's a really good book narrator. I've liked him some stuff, haven't liked him in one or two other things, but I think he's really good in this one. So Simon Vance is the narration. It's a good audiobook. So I'm about 40% through that, so I'll finish it. I don't always mention my nonfictions that I go on here, but in March for my website and our podcast, we're doing The Perfect Mile, about the guy who ran the first sub 4-minute mile and how he went about training for it, and how he just went about doing it when back then it was thought to be absolutely impossible. It's called The Perfect Mile. So we'll be listening to that story. I've heard just a very good narrative story about how he went to go do it. Then after that, Stay Dead is book 2 after Play Dead, is another murder mystery. This one takes place down in Louisiana. And the first one was really good. So the second one, this is one of those that is on Kindle Unlimited, and the audiobook is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you do audio and you do Kindle Unlimited, this is a murder mystery series. I don't know I forgot what the series is called, but the first one is Play Dead. The second one is Stay Dead. So you can check those out because the audiobooks are included. After that, I need to get to book 2 in the Long Winter series by A.G. Riddle. I read book 1, Winter World, I believe it's called. I really enjoyed it. I think it was one of those, I don't want to say guilty pleasures. It is what it is. It is a first contact space, very sci-fi type story. There's sometimes where you hold certain stories at certain levels, certain expectations, and it is what it was. It was what it was. It kept my attention. It was a nice space story, first contact, a lot of technology, a lot of sci-fi, doomsday-esque, because the whole world is frozen over. And it's a trilogy. So the Solar Wars book 2, and they did sort of leave it open to go into the next one. So I would like to get to that one because the first one was pretty high pace, high action. So it kept my attention. It was good. And that's all I really want from those type of apocalypse sci-fi type books. So Solar War might happen. Though the first one was pretty long. First one's like 600 some pages, which I'd prefer them not to be. And there are times where a lot happened, I guess. But still, I prefer a little bit shorter, but either way, I might fit that one in if I can. Then moving on to another Kindle Unlimited book. This is Men of Ash and Shadow. This was a finalist in the SP FBO 2021. And it was the #1 book on my list for the ones that I want to get to. And since then, I've seen some reviews come out, like Steve Talks About Books, and some other people talk about this book and give it some good praise. And it just sounds really, really good. And I think I could treat it as a standalone, like a one-off to read. So I think that's what I might do with that one, because at this point, I already have a couple of series going on. So now it's just filling in, murder mysteries are great for that. Other ones are just good to fill in from here and there. And then the last possible one that I want to get to is the Culture series. So I didn't realize, so this is like a 10 or so book series, sci-fi series. I didn't realize that they're all each somewhat standalones, like in the same world. I thought it was like a big series, and that's why I've been putting it off. But in one of my later videos, or a video not too long ago, somebody said that the Culture is good because they are pretty much standalone. Each book is kind of a self-contained story, which is awesome and great to hear, and bumps it up on my list even more. And I don't think they're super long either. So I do want to get to balance out some sci-fi with all this other fantasy. If you notice in the beginning, it's a lot of fantasy, pretty much all fantasy, and Solar War and then the Culture are pretty much the only sci-fi I have going on right now. So I'd like to get to more sci-fi there. And the Culture's been on my list for a little bit, and it's one that I think could be really, really good, but who knows? Because sometimes with sci-fi books, it's really hit or miss depending on how philosophical they get or theoretical they get, unless it's just like got a good story. So that's the March and beyond reading plans that I have, the ones that are on my radar. I guarantee in a couple of months, there's going to be books I read that aren't even on this list. And there's going to be a handful of books on this list that I don't even consider reading. But as of right now, this is what I'm thinking about reading. This is just what my plan, my head's at. The farther down the list books get, the less likely that I am to read them. But, War for the Rose Throne, 100% happening. Shadow of the Gods, 100% happening next. Assassin's Quest will be third tier after all those, once I feel like fitting in a chunky book. And then after that, we'll see what fits in. The James Patterson Women's Murder Club will probably happen only because all of these are Kindle or audiobooks. This is the only physical book I have on my list because we still haven't yet to get our big shipment of books from our house. So we have, probably 20 or so books downstairs that we had somewhere else, and then just picked up here and there online, and then the couple that I have back there. But our main boxes, like 7 or 8 boxes of books, are still en route, in shipment. Who the heck knows when they're going to come? I'm not expecting them until the end of March or so I can't even put some of those books on my list, which is fine. I have plenty of Kindle books. Another reason why Kindle is awesome and Kindle Unlimited, because in case you don't have your physical books, you just pick up another one. So that's all I got for today. So that's what my reading plans are. Let me know, hey, have you read some of these? Are you interested in the War for the Rose Throne read along? You should totally join us. The books aren't too long. It's a really cool, unique series. And if not, what are you planning on reading in March or beyond? What are some of your priority reads that you want to get to in the next couple of months? Let me know down below, and let's chat more there.